In an ancient hotel room in room 142 lay two foolhardy fools with nothing to do. They sit and they ponder about movies they've seen, while trapped in their room and stare at their TV screens. Sometimes they play songs on the instruments they've amassed. The Pinj and the Maggie on the Scabby Hayze Podcast.
Welcome to the Scabby Hayze Podcast. This is your co-host Maggie.
And this is your other co-host Pinj.
And we would like to welcome you to another movie review. And we have just recently watched The Mummy.
From 1932.
Starring Boris Karloff.
And that's about it.
Okay, let me say one phrase that pretty much sums up the whole entire film. It is more believable that a mummy would come to life and try to curse people and kill people than these two random people falling in love at first sight.
This is true. We'll get into this later.
So, just why?
Yeah, we'll get into this later, but a little bit of a backstory. Maggie and I wanted to do one of the classic spooky films of the ancient cinema history.
A black and white classic.
Yeah, you know, you got your Frankensteins, Draculas,
your Boris Karloffs and your Bela Lugosi's.
Yeah,
and
that's...
Although I've heard it pronounced Bela Lugosi, and I don't know if that's correct or not.
That's just stupid.
No, you're stupid for not keeping an open mind.
Why don't you shut your stupid...
What if you're wrong? What if it's Bela Lugosi, and all this time we've been pronouncing it Bela Lugosi, and he's super offended in his grave because of his name? This is actually the first black and white classic spooky film that we have ever seen. Depending on what you consider classic and how far back you were going.
Yeah.
Right out of the silent era comes the 1930s.
Yeah.
And with all the talkies coming out, they also introduced spooky films with talking in them.
Yes.
And it is very interesting. I want to know what you thought about it.
I got a little droopy-eyed watching the film, so that says something in and of itself.
Boring? Yeah,
boring. I wasn't expecting that much going in, as in, you know, it's not going to be that scary. This isn't... I'm not expecting much, and I got less than what I even expected there.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, I was at least expecting good acting, but we definitely didn't get that.
I was expecting it to be scary. Not that I was scared watching it.
But you would understand why people would think it
yeah.
scary.
And it was more of like a sci-fi type of mysterious, scary, instead of jump scares and up close. I mean, there were some up close shots of a creepy face, but
not scary in the slightest. I wasn't expecting it to be scary.
It could have been. I can think of a couple things that would have made it way better.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, when the mummy first starts to move, would have been way better if it was showing the guy reading the script in front that brings on the curse, and in the background you just see slight movement. It's that subtlety that catches the corner of your eye, and you're like, did that thing just move? And then it comes back to the shot, and then once it's had its, you know, startling effect, then it can have the up-close shots of him opening his eyes and moving and the creepy hand grabbing the scroll and all that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, sometimes that subtlety is just enough to startle you. But didn't happen.
No, not really. I'm not sure really what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't expecting big scares or great effects, great visuals. Not much of a storyline. I've got, like, the worst bubble in my throat that I cannot get rid of right now. Where was I? Alright, jerk.
Alright, well, The Mummy's a good movie.
It's not a good movie.
Did they not know he was a mummy at first, or did they know? Because it kind of seemed like they almost knew. Like, how could they not know? Because he has that weird skin.
There were some who knew and some who didn't.
Yeah, why didn't that random guy who immediately falls in love
notice?
Yeah.
Because his dad didn't tell him for some reason.
Well, yeah, he didn't know that there was a mummy wandering around, but wouldn't he have been able to tell that old man looked kind of strange?
Well, yeah, I think...
And he didn't even question it. He was like, oh, hi, shake hands. You're creepy.
Yeah, most of the...
That's okay.
Most of the people in this film are absolute morons. Yeah, that's it.
Alright, should we tell the plot? Now, I will say this. It gets pretty confusing.
Oh, they add so much lore to this movie.
Yeah.
And it gets really convoluted.
Yes, it does. And it also jumps back and forth between being in the past and being in the present. And at times it's easy to tell which is which, but sometimes it's not. Like, when all of a sudden she has all her garb on and stuff, I was like, wait, is this in the past or now is it in the present? And it took me a while to figure it out, but it's just not well written. The characters, other than the mummy, were just bad and unbelievable.
Absolutely. The main character, I guess you can call him, the son of the archaeologist that discovered the mummy, finds this girl and falls in love with her and gets super creepy about it. like never...
Not creepy in a scary way, like creepy in a creeper kind of way.
Which is also kind of scary at some points.
Because she's totally okay with it.
Yeah.
And doesn't even question it, which says something about her character.
Yeah. He's, like, right here, and he's like, I want to take you to my place, and we can go to my place.
And she's like, I've never seen you before.
Yeah.
But I love you.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's too much.
So, needless to say, The Mummy is a classic, but The Mummy sucks. It actually doesn't suck too bad. I would give it...
Out of Inception to Fantastic Four, where does it rank?
I don't know. It's like...
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
It's not Fantastic Four bad, but it's not all that far off either.
It's like Thor: The Dark World bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Just, like, really...
boring and...
badly written, not good acting.
It's not interesting.
You never once get into the story.
You're not enveloped in the characters or what's going on, the mysteries, any of that.
You're kind of just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah, you know that the mummy is going to come to life, so the first 10 minutes are just you looking at the clock and, alright, when are we going to get to the mummy? We know this is going to happen. Step it up.
The first 10 minutes, I was waiting for Boris Karloff to show up, and then it shows the mummy, and it looks just like Boris Karloff, and I'm like, oh, that thing's gonna come to life because it's Boris Karloff, and he stars in this film.
Yeah.
Why did this surprise anybody? Now, why do you think it became popular?
Why it's so much a classic?
It's so well known.
Yeah.
I mean, The Mummy, they made tons of remakes from it.
It's an iconic film.
Yeah. They remade it with, who was that guy?
I don't know. Oh, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, they remade it with Brendan Fraser. They remade it with Tom Cruise.
We won't talk about those or get into any of that right now, but...
But it was so well known. It was kind of groundbreaking for its day.
Yeah.
So why?
Along with... Frankenstein and your Draculas and all those.
Dracula.
The Draculas.
Dracula.
I really have no idea. I think I was thinking about this a little bit
while I was working, but the only reason I would see it as like groundbreaking or different, that it would be iconic and make people scared, is the fact that there's an evil in this movie. And that it's the mummy, and it's an old, ancient, evil guy, and there's not that much to know about him, and he's hard to kill, which they never even try.
Right.
Which is more poor writing, but they're... Like, you had your gangsters and your mobsters, and, your Snidely Whiplashes, but you didn't have, like, just an evil being that just existed out in the world.
Yeah. Also, I think it came out in 1931, but Dracula...
When did that come out?
I think it was 1931.
This film came out in 1932.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It was either 32 or 31.
Okay.
Dracula came out.
If you will give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Dracula was made in 1931.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, there already was kind of... And Dracula is an extremely well-known film, and I haven't seen it, so that might be something that we do in the future. Maybe the near
week
future.
After next. Yeah, maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
I think it would be interesting.
We might watch Freaks instead.
We will never.
I will.
You might.
I might.
But I think it also has something to do with the Egyptian side of it, because mummies were, like, still being discovered in the 20s, and, there was kind of a fascination with it during that time.
You're right.
Where people knew it was like a completely different culture, but it was fascinating because it was so unique and so foreign, and all their beliefs, like all the different, like, gods and stuff like that, was,
kind of creepy.
Yeah, a little bit creepy and
like
just kind of weird, but still kept your interest.
Yeah.
So I think that probably also had something to do with it.
You're probably right. 'Cause, like sarcophaguses and your tombs and all those, creepier to a dirt.
It's so different than the way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So different than the way anybody else does it. I mean, the Egyptians built massive pyramids for one person, and that's just crazy to think about, but
that's what they did.
Yeah. And so the ancient Egypt, I feel like, has always been kind of a fascination, but especially since things were still being discovered over there, there were still, like, mummies and stuff, and it was fairly new news, then it was interesting to people, and they were playing around with the ideas of, like, wow, what if mummies,
came to life.
I mean, they're not just skeletons, they're, like, skin and hair and stuff, so they look a little bit more, lifelike, and what if they did come to life? And so it was kind of eerie and...
Yeah, the idea of it is creepy.
I know, it had so much potential.
Yeah, but this movie doesn't execute on any of that properly.
Maybe we should watch Frankenstein next.
Maybe not. I would imagine out of all of the classic old horror movies, Frankenstein would probably be the worst.
Frankenstein's also probably the most classic.
I don't know. Dracula goes up there.
Yeah, that's true. Dracula and Frankenstein. We should watch both of them and then do a contrast.
Oh, that might be kind of fun.
Yeah,
or it might be really boring.
But the picture of, Frankenstein giving the flower to the little girl, that's so iconic.
It's true.
And the neck bolts and,
all that,
just all that. But also Dracula going, come.
Yeah. And his cape.
And his weird, like...
Maggie, the audience can't see you, like, looking at the camera.
Yeah, but they can tell by the tension and the silence which way I'm twisting my face.
Maggie. Alright, would you recommend The Mummy?
I would not.
Me neither. I can't think of a person I would recommend this to, except for maybe a very avid movie watcher that they're just going to watch it anyways.
Yeah, but I would have done that even if I hadn't seen The Mummy.
watch it?
No, I would have recommended it. Like, oh, you should watch The Mummy. Since you watch so many movies and since you love movies.
I guess.
Then you're bound to watch it. If you love every movie that you watch, then I might as well even recommend a movie I haven't even seen. Which is stupid, and you can't do that.
Well, there is reason to watch this film to try to understand why it was so famous, I guess.
No,
I don't
because
know. This film wasn't that good at all.
The reason that you watch a film is to be entertained. And it just wasn't entertaining at all. It was boring and unbelievable.
I don't apologize for my opinion, but I kind of apologize to all those who do like this film. Maybe they were raised with it and they found it scary back then. Or they have some connection with it, you know, because they like old movies or something. It's not because it's old, it's because it's bad.
Yeah. Oh no, I love old movies.
Yeah.
I like a lot of old movies. I probably like more old movies than I like recent movies.
Yeah.
But I wonder if maybe it was just because Boris Karloff was in it, and I don't know if Frankenstein was made before The Mummy or not. I'm pretty sure it was, because I think Frankenstein was one of his first movies. Or at least he wasn't well known until Frankenstein. Boris Karloff wasn't a well-known actor until Frankenstein. Same with Bela Lugosi. He wasn't well known until Dracula.
Yeah.
But I wonder if The Mummy came out after Frankenstein, if it was popular because Boris Karloff was well known and it was like, oh, he's scary looking, he would be a good mummy, you know, we should watch this.
It's certainly possible. Frankenstein was made in 1931, so that's very possible.
Yeah. It was probably the next big film after Frankenstein, and everyone was thinking it would be the same.
Yeah. And boy, it's not. Oh, we should talk about well, it's not that much to talk about, but it's something. The Nutcracker.
I know.
Part of the Nutcracker is at the beginning of this film.
The credits, and with all the names, is
opening credit
being accompanied by Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, and I don't understand, because when it first started, I thought maybe it would be like a reoccurring theme in the film, or they would just play the Nutcracker throughout the film just for funsies. I mean, I don't understand, but then the music was completely different, and it just didn't make any sense at all.
It could be. Maybe this was like a Friday the 13th of its era. How, like, aside from the set time frame that it was in, it wouldn't be popular otherwise. Because that genre was growing and becoming more popular. And that's why it became famous.
Maybe.
Because even though maybe it wasn't good, there were so many people watching it that it became popular and everyone knew about it.
I thought about that too. Like, it wasn't popular because it was good. It was popular because lots of people watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah.
But there were many, many plot holes. Many, many things that needed further explaining. Many things. Actually, it was mostly the characters themselves that needed better developed. They needed more time to become acquainted with each other and to interact with each other so you could get to know them and care about them. And there just wasn't, it was so vague, and the actors, like our sister said, she watched it with us, said that none of the actors seemed like they were getting into the character.
Yeah.
Like they didn't, I don't know.
They
Except
didn't
for
care.
Boris Karloff is a good actor. I will say that. He's a good actor. And he was the saving grace in it, because...
If you can call it that.
I mean...
He's the most convincing.
Yeah, he's definitely the most convincing. But...
Other than that...
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Also, they used, like, a discount dollar store skeleton at the end of the film that they just laid on the ground.
That was actually really...
That was bad.
Not good.
Yeah. It doesn't look fitting at all.
I've seen better effects in a silent film than that.
We got a little special guest that just popped in.
A guest star.
Our guest star, one of our first.
Oh, our sister Caitlin.
Yes, has joined us. And she watched the film with us. You watched The Mummy, 1932, as we've talked about a little bit. We said it mostly sucked. Actually, it really sucked.
And we did credit you for saying that the actors didn't care about their characters.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's already been said.
That can make a good film bad that would otherwise be good.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it can also make a bad film good if the actors care about their part.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Off subject, but a couple of Silence that I've watched, you could definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. Like the shot actors, could be terrible.
Yeah, they knew it was a bad movie, but they just had fun with it and like put everything into it, and it made it actually like fun to watch. Even though it's still a bad movie, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I think.
And on the other end of the spectrum, like Batman and Robin.
Yeah, nobody cared about that.
Not saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great actor or anything, but he is, like, well known for other movies, but not for that one. And everyone loves him in other movies, but that one he was terrible in.
And Uma Thurman was on Caitlin's, as she was talking about Spectrum, of an actor just having fun with a crap movie.
Yeah.
But it didn't so make over the top. No, it didn't. It didn't. It was terrible. It was still one of the worst movies ever made.
But it can make or break a film.
It's true.
It's not always the case, though.
Yeah. Definitely not the case in The Mummy.
We asked the question, why do you think that it became so popular? Because The Mummy is so well known. Like, why? Because it was really boring for us. Why do you think that it became so popular?
I don't know. Maybe because it was thrilling for the day? Because it had those special effects?
It's possible.
Yeah, but lots of other things had special effects too. Dracula was the year before.
That was Todd Browning.
Frankenstein was the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both the year before.
Actually, Lon Chaney was going to be Dracula.
Oh, really?
Really?
But then he died.
Oh.
So, Todd Browning got Bela Lugosi.
Actually, it wasn't Todd Browning. There was a kid. Actually, there was a director and then a director's son who everyone called Junior, and he was like 21 years old.
Oh, really?
And everyone thought he was like a retard because he didn't like make good decisions and he was too young to be in the industry.
Oh.
But he made 2 decisions that like changed his career and made him like great. I don't remember that kid's name, but except I remember that everyone called him Junior. He picked Bela Lugosi for being in Dracula, and Bela Lugosi wasn't a well-known actor before that, and he picked Boris Karloff for Frankenstein.
He was the director?
He wasn't the director, but he made that decision.
Okay.
I don't know if he was like a producer or... Yeah. I don't know. Huh. But I read an article that was talking about that. I don't understand. If Frankenstein and Dracula both came out before The Mummy, why was The Mummy so popular?
I think it was
maybe horror was catching on.
Yeah.
Because those two were big successes as well.
It wasn't popular because people liked it. It was popular because people were watching it.
Because of the genre. And that was what was popular at the time. So that was just one of them. As I mentioned before, like the Friday the 13th franchise wouldn't be popular because they were good films. It was because slashers were famous, or like really popular at the time of the first one's release. And people just went to go watch it, so it made a lot of money, and then it continued on.
Have you looked at its gross at the time that it came out? To know like if it was actually popular back then, or if it's become like recently popular?
I do not know, but it has had multiple reboots, I guess you could say.
That might be it.
Multiple stories.
Why it's popular today.
It could be. You know what? That's actually not a bad point. Maybe it was only popular after.
Later. Yeah, and because Boris Karloff's really famous.
Yeah.
Maybe
because a lot of people talk about that one.
Wow, we found this ancient old movie about a mummy. Let's remake it.
What's the best part?
The best part? Oh, that's a good question, actually. And I'm not sure there's an answer. Possibly the beginning?
The credits? The best part is definitely Boris Karloff. Because
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And everybody else isn't at all.
Yeah, he's definitely...
And he's way too, like, unique, so he's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. He probably is the best part of the film.
But
It's definitely not the...
I don't think there's, like, a best scene, though. Or,
not
like...
really.
Or an aspect of the movie that is the best. It's probably just...
Boris Karloff.
All bad.
Yeah. What about you, Caitlin? What's the best part?
I don't know.
It's really... Yeah, this film is not good. Like, really not good.
It's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's kind of anticlimactic because I
very.
thought it was gonna be more.
All they do is
like,
just burn a scroll.
I didn't think it was gonna be scary. Like,
no, the mummy just kind of falls apart and turns into a Dollar General.
The mummy burns another mummy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot. He like sticks it in a fireplace or something.
He kills a mummy.
Yeah.
Mummyception.
He mummifies a mummy.
He doesn't mummify
Mummicide.
Okay, that's true.
Mummicide.
Mummicide. That's mummicide.
Also, the lady has a really deep voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was I doing that?
Really far apart, huge eyes.
Well, I think they picked that because...
Pinj, didn't she kind of remind you of Thelma Todd?
Who dat?
The lady from the Marx Brothers. I want to cha-cha-cha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she kind of reminded, because of like her bulging eyes.
Oh,
and
snap,
like,
you're right.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been the Scabby Hayze Podcast. Your co-host, Pinj.
Co-host, Maggie.
And your special guest,
Caitlin.
And you can find us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, hopefully Facebook soon. I want to try that. Give it the old shot in the dark, see if any light appears. Maybe a few of you have found us on there already, so...
because we don't have a page yet. So
well, yeah, but... maybe they'll hear it on there if I put it up before. But yeah, this has been Scabby Hayze. Next week we'll have a music episode for you. Some good old improv. So yeah, see you then.